heal. In a world full of noise, we choose meaningful conversations. Conversations that heal, inspire, and build faith. Here at Love TV, we'll be having meaningful conversations, very real conversations, powerful interviews, and faith-based discussions. Here we will discuss family, purpose, relationship, stories, all through the lenses of God's Word. Whether you are young or old, join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. My name is Deborah Baah Quansah. I'll be your host for Real Conversations.
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to this episode of Real Talk here at Love TV. Tonight, we have an interesting conversation, one that I'm personally passionate about. It's important that we get to hear success stories, especially in our waiting seasons. It helps us to know that God is in the neighborhood and He'll be coming through for us as well. And so tonight, we'll be discussing no human is useless. No human is useless. And there's no one better to do it than Mr. William Plenge. And so we'll ask that you kindly stay tuned. You follow us on all social media platforms. You share this content with another person. You may be helping another person. And so tonight we'll go on with the conversation. So, Mr. William Plenge, please, could you introduce yourself to us aside your name that has already been mentioned?
I love my name so much, so I'll mention my name again.
Okay.
My name is William Plenge. I'm the founder of No Human is Useless, which is a non-profit organization, and I'm a 12 times international best-selling author and Caribbean Global Awards in the UK for my global effort in helping people recover from depression. Yes, so and also I help people overcome depression, right, through storytelling, because I believe that the best things in life is found in uncomfortable situations. So when people go through uncomfortable situations, they don't understand it, they don't get it. So some of them end up taking their lives. So I help them overcome depression and let them know that there's something beautiful in there. So suicide is never an option. Yeah, that's about me.
God bless you so much for the impact you are making in the lives of people all around the world. But just like you are saying, there are stories behind every impact that people make.
Yeah.
And so what brought about your desire to help people in this particular situation?
Thank you. So the one thing I would say is I lived it. I had an experience of pain and struggles which many people go through, and some unfortunately will take their life, right? But I went through that situation and I was able to overcome it and then turn it into purpose. So here's a story. I grew up in a community where everybody will tell you that go to school, make sure you are first in class, be the best amongst everybody, and if you do so, your life is going to be beautiful after school because you're going to land a good job, you'll be able to buy your car, those good stuff that we all hear when we were growing up. Exactly. So I had that mindset growing up, right? And that alone was competition. It means that you must compete with everybody. So that was the mindset I grew up with. I grew up with my grandmom. That time she had a bar, right? So my daily routine was I go to school, I come back home, sell alcohol, and go back to school, do my homework. That was my daily routine. So it's school, home, selling alcohol, back to school. Yes, still with that aim that I need to be the best amongst my friends, be first in class, and then come and live the dream. So fast forward, I completed school, right? Did my national service, and I was struggling to get a job. And that is where the depression started with me, because I was thinking, no, I was good with academics that everybody in the community talked about, but why am I not getting a job, right? Then of course I get these kind of jobs that the salary is too small, right? So you end up using your salary as transportation back to work. Sometimes you need to borrow money to go back to work. So zero. Living in debt, it was very troubling, right? So I saw my friends who I was way better than in class. You know, these guys that if we are 40 in class, they are either 39 or 40. They were fortunate. They've had a good job. They've bought their cars. They are living life. And anytime I saw them, I was like, am I not supposed to be in their shoes? Because I was the one who was good in class. Then one day, me and my friends, we met. We were having a chit chat, like, old time friends. We were having a chit chat, and one of them passed a comment to me that, hey, William, get a life, because we are all moving, right? To him, he was just passing a comment, but it hit me so hard, because I was trying my best, but nothing was working for me, right? So same time, my only hope was my family. But my family also barely noticed me, because as a firstborn, I'm required to support in the bills at home, and I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing that. So I can say I wasn't respected. Yes. So all these things, living in the city with all this chaos, became so problematic in my head, right? I couldn't think straight. So one day I couldn't stand it. I just placed a call to some people I knew and who lived in the forest, right? I called them. I'm like, hey, I want to come and spend some time with you. And they said, come over. So I moved from the city and I went to settle in the forest in Brongahafo. Now, this is a new environment, no electricity, no good drinking water. Sometimes we drank from a stream that looked green in color, sometimes in a borehole. And the life there was this: when you wake up in the morning, we need to walk into the deep farms, like 5 hours walk, right, to get food stuff, cassava, plantain, and then we carry it on our head and we'll come back. And if you don't do it, that's where the food is. So you need to go with all the boys. If you say you're waiting home, you have to wait for them to go and come back. That's 10 hours journey. So we have to go and
help out.
Exactly. Now, I was born in the city. I wasn't exposed to this kind of life, so it was very difficult for me. It was so difficult for me. Then one day, while in the forest, but you see the people there, the people that I found myself with in the forest, me coming from the city, they thought I was well versed in knowledge, because if you are coming from Temadi, your mind is open. Yes. So when they had some sort of problems, they come to me. William, this is bothering me, and can you help me out? But those problems they came with were not problems that we were taught in schools to solve. They were problems that require prayers, deep discernment before you'll be able to solve it. But one way or the other, I could just give them direction. Oh, do this, it's going to work out. So when they do it, it works. So they come back saying, God bless you, William. Thank you so much. What you told me really worked. I'm like, yeah, that's how it is. So whenever they say, God bless you, thank you, it made me feel so good within me. It was a sharp feeling I felt, right? Now, one day I was sitting under a tree around 9 p.m. and I was just praying, right? Saying, like, God, what's up with my life? Am I going to live here all my life? Tell me something. Now, within 30 minutes, I hear a voice. And I remember vividly a female voice whisper in my ear that, William, go back to the city and start a business called the Errand Boy. The Errand Boy, no explanation, nothing. So since Monday, I came to the city, got somebody to do a logo for me with my name, Mr. Plenge, and I said, use Errand Boy as my slogan. So Errand Boy, and I posted it. But when I posted it, I said, if you're a busy scheduled person and you want somebody to run errands for you, pick your kids from school, do the groceries for you, call on me, I'm the Errand Boy. And within a week, I get calls from high-profile people like policemen, doctors, bankers, people who were so busy with their work that they didn't have time. So they go like, oh, I saw this, can you help me do this? So I set in and I do it for them. And it was all joy. It wasn't about money. It was all the joy, and when they say, God bless you, the service. I felt so good, right? So fast forward to COVID. You remember COVID? Yes. When COVID came, I woke up one day and my grandmom, mind you, my grandmom had taken care of me from my childhood, paid my school fees, did all the good things for me. But when COVID came, my grandmom woke up one day and says, hey, I am broke. You need to leave this house. I want to rent your room. And I thought it was a joke. I stepped out, I came back, and my grandmom had packed all my stuff outside the gate that you need to leave this house. And at that point, I felt my whole life came crashing because I didn't know where to go. I didn't have a stable job. So I went to her church. She was a leader in the church. I went to her church to talk to them, to come and speak to her on my behalf, thinking that if the church comes in, she's going to listen to them. Now, that was the worst mistake I made. the church people came to speak to her, and she says, no, the church didn't build her house for her. It's her own property. So she decides what to do with it. So my mom had to borrow money for me. At that time, 1,000 Ghana cedis. And I went to rent a small wooden structure, like a ghetto around. The room that I need to, if I'm going in there, I need to just maneuver my way in a way to get, it was a very small room, very hot. So I dumped my stuff in there, slept at one corner, and I wake up every morning praying and crying. That was what I was doing. It was all about crying because I felt my whole life had come to an end, right? So that was when I jumped on LinkedIn, and I shared a picture of me while I was in the forest. And I posted that, hey, sometimes we need to go through pain to find the blessings, some talent we have inside of us. Because I had to go live in the forest to find my first business idea. That's the errand boy. So I was just putting some motivational message there. And this white man from the US saw it, and he was like, hi, William, I love your message. If you don't mind, I want you to introduce you to a group in the US so you can tell your story if you want to. I'm like, cool, I want to do it. So we had a Zoom meeting, me and about 30 businessmen and women, and I was sharing my story, how I left to the city and the forest and all of those stuff. They loved it. Now, I make these marks, I call it the invisible marks. They are black marks. I can put your image on it, but you don't see it. It's black. But when I pour hot water in it, it reveals it, yes. So I made one of the mug with the CEO of that networking group, right? So after I told them my story, I brought the mug out, and I don't know where these words came from. Probably, certainly from God. I was like, you know, human beings are black like these marks, but you are not aware of the beautiful things God has placed inside of you. You know? But sometimes we need to go through pain and struggles. That is the hot water. It goes in there to trigger that thing that we are sleeping on, that talent we are not paying attention to, for it to come out for the world to see. So when I did that, then the image started popping up. And these white people were like, wow, William, this is beautiful. I'm like, yeah. So if you have one of these marks, every morning when you're having a hot coffee, it is going to remind you that there's something special in you. That's all I said. The next thing I saw myself doing, these people were ordering these marks from Ghana. While I was in the ghetto, I started shipping these marks from Ghana to the US. And I was making money. But mind you, when my grandmom sacked me, everybody called her names. You are wicked. You don't want the well-being of your grandson. But I say that my grandmom sacking me, and that's what God does for us. You know, sometimes you might feel that God has neglected you. So I became a member of this group in the US. I started making small monies. They featured me on the Times Square billboard for 24 hours. And I know many people are dying. Most celebrities are dying to be there. I got to be on there for like 24 hours for free because of my story. Now, this is where No Human Issue just came to being. One day, I was praying, and that same voice I encountered in the forest comes again, whispers to me that, William, this group, they love reading books. You have a beautiful story. So why don't you put your story in a book and title it No Human is Useless? So I wrote my first book. I had no intention of becoming an author. But then when I heard that voice, and I trust it so much, I published the book. The book became 9 times best-selling in US, UK, Canada, Germany. Yeah. And I collaborated with some foreigners on another book, which got me to being 12 times bestseller. Then I decided to start a whole movement because I saw that many people, the youth, they are going through the same thing that I went through. After school, no job, they're struggling, they don't know what to do with their life, some are committing suicide and all of those stuff. So I'm like, why don't I use my story to help these people overcome? Because if I've been through it and I'm now doing something meaningful with it, people can look up to me and also push hard exactly to do what they are supposed to do. So I started No Human is Useless. One day I get a message from a group in the UK called Caribbean Global Awards. They said, William, we've been monitoring you for 1 year. We are having a maiden award in the UK and we want you to come to grace this occasion. So the first time I went to the UK and I won the award for my global effort in helping people overcome depression. And from where I come from, if somebody had told me that I would ever sit on a flight, and I would say no, I don't look nowhere near it. All right. But it's all because during the pain, during the struggles, I didn't commit suicide. If I committed suicide, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing all these things. Yeah, so that is how No Human Useless came to being. Yes, and since then, we've been doing amazing stuff. Amazing stuff, and we are helping people overcome depression. Yeah.
God bless you so much. That has been like a very inspiring story. I think sometimes when you go through things, you think you're the only person
Not at all
going through it,
Not
but
at all.
it's comforting to know that people have walked those same paths and then God came through for them.
Yeah.
I think when you were speaking, you spoke about prayer and other things. I want to find out, how did your journey with God begin? Was there a point where you got to, you were like, okay, now God and I have a certain kind of relationship?
So, growing up, we automatically you would go to church when your mom and your parents are going. So I went through all those stuff, but yet I didn't find God the way I have right now. Because I believe relationship with God should be very personal, because the way God will relate with me wouldn't be the same as you. You might not have to go to the forest to discover something. I may go, right? So I always make that example that the way God met Moses, right? If I go to Moses to go and ask Moses, how does God speak to people? He will say he comes through a burning bush. There's a way he met with Joseph. Joseph had to go through being sold by the brothers and all of it. He was also giving me a different idea of how God relates, speaks to him. So I believe it's very individual. It's a personal thing that we have with God. Yeah. So my journey, of course I did some of the churches, went to church from my childhood, but when I realized that I have had this encounter with God was when I was alone in the forest, quiet, just me speaking and hearing that voice. And that was the first time I heard that. And every time I hear it, I don't how do I put this? I don't second guess. I don't doubt it. I hear it, I do it. Mostly it doesn't make sense. When you hear it, you bring it to your physical, it doesn't make sense. But when you act on it, it becomes clearer and clearer. So I think my time in the forest experience made me had the direct. Otherwise, all the other days it has been going to sit for somebody to preach to me, and mostly they talk about their experience and not mine. Yes.
That's very profound. Even the fact that you likened it to Moses, because Moses was also a man that was running away because he had killed somebody. So at the time where he encountered God, it was at his breaking point. And so I believe what you are.
I never thought of that. That is beautiful.
Yes. He was at his own breaking point. He had lived as I always mix this up, but he has lived like, let's say, a Hebrew, and then inwardly he's another person, because his mother had put him on the boat, and then he grows up and sees two people fighting. And then the real nature of himself kills the other person, and they are going to kill him as well, and he's running away.
To run.
And then that is the time that he encounters God, and God speaks to him and gives him a new assignment. So based on this same story that you have shared, when God gave you that assignment, how did you think the journey was going to be? Did you at any point feel like you were not adequate for what God wanted you to do?
Okay, so thank you. When I had this assignment, this No Human Useless thing, right, I thought it was going to be smooth, right? And it has never been smooth. If God gives you something, doesn't mean that you're going to have it smooth. Yeah, I've gone through a lot. I've even quit like 8 times already. But anytime I quit, and this is how you know if it is really from God. One day, things were not going as planned, right? I packed all my documents. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Now I have this box. I place everything in there. Then I get a message from a stranger from TikTok. It says, Mr. Plenge, I attempted suicide 8 times and I failed. I was about trying the 9th and I chanced on your video on TikTok, and I realized that I'm not useless, and I changed my mind Because if you've been through it and you are doing something like this now, then I can also do it.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, and God bless you for saving my life. Now, when I read that message, I was so shocked. I went back to the boss, pick up. So I believe that was just a reminder from God, telling him that keep on going, though it is tough, right? Because sometimes it has been very, very tough, very, very, very tough. But people don't see it, but it's very tough. Sometimes we even cry indoors.
Yes,
Yeah. But God is with us.
Go through those seasons. I want us to delve into waiting. For instance, the period where you went back to the forest, you were at a new place, a new land. What did the future look like at that time, and what was that waiting season like?
Let me tell you something. I went to the forest in 2014, right? We're in 2026 now. And I started knowing human issues less. I had this encounter with the white people 2019, 2020. So just imagine the years, all right? During that time, I felt there was no hope. I felt nothing was going to change, right? But I kept on doing, not knowing what the future holds, right? Of course, I'll have dreams that, I'm doing something great. I'm doing something powerful. I see those dreams, but it feels like it's never coming to pass, right? So it's very tough. Those waiting moments, it was very tough for me, and it felt like forever. It felt like nothing was going to change. Yes. But now it's happening. Good things are happening now.
Yeah, standing. I think there's this Nasi song talking about Minimse Ube Mise Yanka.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm sure maybe in your wildest dream, this is not the life you ever expected.
No. I thought I was going to be a footballer. At some point, I became a rapper. I was on this graphic showbiz. I thought I was going to be a rapper.
Oh, really?
My videos on YouTube.
Then let's delve into that.
I've done a lot of things. A lot. And
okay, before finding your path, yes. Can we talk about what you wanted to be initially? I think you just mentioned going into showbiz and other things. What brought your interest in those areas, and at what point did you feel like you had to leave those areas?
So growing up, I wanted to be a captain, ship, right? Then after school, when things were not going on well, I delved into football. I was a very good footballer, right? So I was like, you have the talent. People are also telling you have the talent. Why don't you play? So I play, but I didn't find fulfillment. If you're doing something that God has asked you to do, you feel it here. It's like a fire that burns. You do it regardless, with money or without money. It's some fire that pushes you. And I delve into music, rap, because at that time my friends were all musicians. Some are engineers. Some have big names now. I was doing music. Still, I didn't feel fulfilled, right? And what even pushed me into it is because of friends. Because of I wanted to come out of the pain I was going through, so I was just trying everything to come out. It wasn't really from within, right? I did a whole lot. I don't even remember some, but I think it was because I was trying to figure out things to work my way. But initially, I should have been calm and go to God, right? I wanted to do it with my strength, so I end up doing so many things that wasn't meant for me.
Yeah. He had the script of your life, and he knew where he was taking you to. I want us to talk a little about family. I think you spoke about the fact that your grandmom was the one taking care of you. How do you think the family contributed in your going through that particular phase of your life? What is something that they could have done better? If let's say there's another William Plenge in another family, and he has started to go through the same season that you are going through, how do you think the family can help him be able to come out of that season? Because sometimes families are doing things that to them they feel it is right. We live in Africa, it's black tax. We take care of you so that you come back to take care of us. And so at any point when they are not getting the money, it feels like, no, this boy is doing something wrong. What's your advice to parents living with a child that has not yet made it?
I think it's about time. Parents, one thing, African parents, Ghanaian parents. I've not been to the whole of Africa.
Yeah.
As they don't have conversations with their children, but now it's changing because I am not doing the same. I've changed so many things, but our time we didn't have that. Come and sit down and let's have a talk. What's going on? What are you doing in school? Blah blah. We didn't have that thing. So it's just when you're being given birth to, they provide food for you, but the rest is up to you. So I feel they should do more of conversation, okay, with their kids. And now it's even worse because this technologies, AI stuff. You can I have some cousins. They could sit in the same space and they are texting. When they could just talk like how we are. They are texting on phone. So it's very difficult, but it's just that they should have time to have real conversations with their kids. Yes,
it's very true. I want us to talk about after that when you had the errand boy idea and you started it. Did it come to an end or you are still doing errands?
Oh, yeah. I did it. I did it for some time, but I switched business. It was like it used to be like if you are a busy scheduled person, call on me. Let me go and do your rounds for you. I switched to selling shoes.
Okay.
So I go to Kantamanto at dawn around 3 a.m. to get shoes, and I posted and I was selling them. But now I don't do the errand boy. I still have all the certificates there, but then I'm more focused on no human issues. That is the real purpose now.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I believe when you have gone through a certain season, it's also important that you forgive as well. I think one of the things that you made mention of is how your perspective has shifted. There are people that could have carried their grandmom in their hearts forever, but you were able to say God used it to push you out of the comfort zone. How do you think forgiveness helps people out of these situations, or how does it help them out of depression?
So in my book, right, there's a chapter that I say, thank your enemies because they paved the way. And that's the story about my grandmom. Just imagine if my grandma didn't sack me from home, I wouldn't have got these opportunities and all of that. And I feel like sometimes God allows these things to happen, right? But if God comes directly to you that probably maybe leave this church, right? I want to give you a bigger church. You might doubt it, all right? So let's say if this place is rented, God can use your landlord to come and frustrate you, all right? So you live here, then he can give you that blessing, that bigger one he wants to give you. But if he comes and tell you that, oh, leave, I have a bigger one for you, you doubt. So it doesn't mean the landlord is your enemy. You should rather thank him. Because if you think very deep, you should rather thank him for he allowing himself for God to use to come and put you out of this. So that's how I think right now. So forgiveness is a very beautiful key to me, which I hold in high esteem. And I have nothing against my grandma now. Yeah. Though probably she feels bad. Why didn't I? But then, exactly. But it is a blessing to me. And I believe forgiveness is something that we should hold in high esteem. Yeah.
So let's talk about the new movement, No Human is Useless. When you talk about that, what is your idea for people? What do you want them to understand?
So I just want people to know that if they are going through pain, they are going through struggles, suicide is not an option. It means that they are very close to their blessings, right? So for No Human Issues, what we do is we have 5 programs, right? We have the healing room, the healing journey. We do the school tours. We go to defeating depression in the prisons, and then we have our annual conferences. Now the healing room, we bring people, like 30 people in a small space. No recording, no judgment. We just give you the platform. Come and share what is eating you up. Because I found out that people are not speaking up because they don't know who they are talking to. They don't want their pain to be spread for people to hear what they are going through. So they keep it inside of them, and that is the killer. So this healing room gives the safe space for people to come, share what is eating them up. So at the end of the day, when we close from that session, you realize that what is even eating you up, somebody is going through worse. So you'll be like, so why am I even worried? Then at the end of the day, everybody gets healed, right? We have the healing journey. We take a bus, we go on a trip, and while we are going on a trip, everybody is sharing their story. We are talking about the real pain that people are going through and how they overcome it. At the end of the day, before we come back, everybody is healed, right? We go to the prisons, we speak to the inmates, and I let them know that the prison, yes, is a confined space. It might feel that your right has been taken away from you. When I went to the forest, it was like a prison for me. But that's where I had my biggest encounter with God and with whatever thing I'm doing right now. So we let them know that though the prison looks like, but it's a transforming place where they can come out and come and do something great. And then we also heal them from there. And then we do our annual conference, which is the biggest one, where we just share stories. I work with storytelling because that is the real thing people are going through. So last year we did one. We had people flying in from UK, from Switzerland, and it was amazing. We had about 400 people. That was our first time. And people just coming to share what they've been through. And it's not just about coming to listen to speakers, the audience. We give them an opportunity to also come on stage to come and talk about what is eating them up. And the kind of stories that comes up, really, they just don't have somebody doing that, giving them that safe space for them to do. So that's what we've been doing, and so far so good. God is helping us in His own way. Yeah.
Thank God so much for your life. I want to ask you spoke about helping people out of depression.
Yeah.
So how do I know that I'm not just sad, but I'm depressed? Because I believe they are in stages. And so how do I know that this is the point where I need to seek for help? Somebody could be watching us and once in a while they are sad. Now we have let's say a system where words are being thrown about. So everybody is saying they are in toxic relationship, everybody is saying they are being abused, everybody is saying they are depressed. But how do you realize that where I am at now, I need help?
So I believe that when the normal things you used to do, you do them no more, it means that yes, there's a problem. Everything you do on a normal basis, now you don't do them anymore. That means you need to seek help, right? And sometimes I say the first aid to overcoming depression is calmness. You don't fight chaos with chaos, otherwise you mess things up, right? You need to be calm, have time for yourself, right? Even if it's just 30 minutes being alone in your room, in your space. I don't say go to the forest. Not everybody can go to the forest, but have time for yourself in silence. That is where the message is. That is where the answers are. But many people, when these things come up, they are struggling to come out of it very quickly. So they end up doing so many things that they need not to do. And when you're going through this phase, it feels like there's no options for you. But trust me, there are so many options, but you're not thinking about it because of the struggle you are going through. And it takes calmness to get these answers to these solutions. Yeah. So that's what I advise people. Don't just fight chaos with chaos.
You spoke about like finding purpose in pain. I think sometimes what the enemy does is to just let you see what is not going on, right? And so if there's somebody in a situation now that seems difficult, how do I know which part of this is supposed to be a blessing? For instance, if you didn't end up posting on LinkedIn and getting to meet those people, now looking on hindsight, you're able to tell that, okay, this was a season that was being a blessing to me. For somebody that is finding themselves in the situation now, how do I identify the blessing in this season?
You or him?
Okay, me. Let's use me. Okay, so how do you identify that this is the blessing in this season that I am going through?
So one I don't know if I should say one funny thing.
Okay.
One funny thing is the blessings, you get to know it years later. Years later. I had to find out that not going through the forest time, that was, I told you, 2014, 2020, 2021, that is when I decided that, I realized that, so going through the forest was actually allowed by God, so I can go through all these stages and even have this encounter with this voice I was telling you about. Probably if I didn't go to the forest, I couldn't have had this. Right? So it takes years. Probably when you have had all your blessings that you are seeing physical, that is where it's going to prompt you that. So all these things that I went through, it means God was even preparing this thing that I have right now for me. So I feel that the realization of it comes right after when you are okay. You don't see it when you are going through that pain.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes.
Because I think we are in an Indomie generation where we want everything fast.
Yes,
But
it doesn't work that
just
way.
to buttress your point, I think it's the same thing that happened to Joseph. He didn't know
Mhm.
that's what God had for him, but
Mhm.
at the end he was able to say that as for you, you meant it for evil,
Yeah.
but God meant it
Yeah.
for good. And it was only when he became prime minister.
Exactly.
And so maybe you are in the season now and it feels like you don't see the purpose in it. You are crying almost every night. Your bills are just piling up, and you just want something to come out of it any moment from now. We are learning to be patient.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not just about waiting. It is how you are waiting as well.
Exactly.
Are
Exactly.
you waiting patiently? Are you waiting in hope, or you are murmuring about waiting and all of that? And so I just pray that God helps you through that particular situation.
Yeah.
So please, can you tell us when next are you having your conferences or your programs, the date?
So now we are on a campaign. We do it every September.
Okay.
Our conference is coming this year in September, 12th or 21st.
Okay.
But we are trying to do 3 countries: Ghana, UK, South Africa.
Okay.
But we are now pushing normally we use crowdfunding.
Okay.
So we do the platform and people donate money. That's what we use in during our conferences. So we just started our crowdfunding, and I think we have like 26 days left to go.
Okay.
So we are just hoping,
Okay.
and let me tell you this, last year when we were having this conference, we had no money, right? I just want to say this to encourage somebody who wants to do something and feels like there's no money, right? Money should be the last thing to even think about, though it is important. The money is in the hands of people, so you don't chase it, you chase the people who have it, right? So I was busily looking for international speaking gigs in Europe, and I knew people who could have just, and it will happen, but they were all saying no. They were all saying no to me, and I felt so bad, right? At this point, I had no intention of doing these conferences. So I was praying one day, and this same voice whispers, William, if these people are saying no, it means it's time for you to start your own event. Because if you start your own conference, you get to stand on the stage and speak as long as you want. So that's when I had the idea. Now, when I had the idea, there was no money, right? But it didn't stop me. I designed a flyer and said, hey, the annual conference is coming. We started a crowdfunding. People were putting down $10, $5, $20. I took 21 days to fast, right? No food, no water. I drink water after 3 p.m. On the 10th day, I woke up and I saw $1,000 in the account from a total stranger from Saudi Arabia. So I went to reach out and say, thank you, sir, for supporting. No, William, don't thank me. If I don't support this, God is going to punish me. Inshallah. William, you need to do this. This is very amazing. And I didn't know how I was able to raise about 80,000 Ghana cedis.
Wow.
Just imagine. 80,000 Ghana cedis, booked an auditorium, got people flying in to Ghana, all because of me. And my one cedi wasn't in. But here's the thing. This is where you might feel that God is not with you. When I had 80,000 cedis, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get more after the event so that I can keep for myself. Guess what? After it, my rent was due. I paid my rent and back to zero, right? And that doesn't mean God
It's not with you.
he knows what he's doing, right? Probably maybe if he hands over that big money that I need, I might even divert with what I'm doing, right? Which of course I'm not going to that, because this is like what I eat, what I drink, what I wake up to do, that brings me joy, right? So yes, that's how it started with the annual conference, and then we are still keeping up to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that you are holding forth with what God has given to you, and then you are doing your part.
Yeah.
And one thing we've come to learn in church is that we are blessed to be a blessing. If there's somebody watching us, what's your advice to them about imparting their generation, doing their own part? Just like you said, this is your individual journey. We can't all start no human is useless 2, no human is useless 3.
No.
We all have to find our part. But if there's somebody watching us, how can they also impact their own communities? How can I make life better for another person as well?
So I'll say, first of all, right, we are in this world to serve each other. You can do it through selling of food. You can do it through music. You can do it through being a pastor. You can do it through every how do they call it? Every occupation
That you have.
every occupation that you're doing, you can use that as a blessing.
Okay.
Somebody is hungry. If you are selling here, because of you, somebody had food to eat. Right? So whatever thing you are holding in your hand, it is of purpose. So make sure you get used to it. But I just want to tell everybody that the best things in life, they are always found in uncomfortable situations. Right? So when you go through pain and struggles, when everybody is saying no to you, everybody is rejecting you, there's something beautiful in there. You just need calmness to figure it out, because God has blessed every human being with a special talent that needs to come out for the world to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please, if somebody would like to support No Human is Useless, how can they do that? Can you give them channels they can?
Yeah, so we have
reach
our
out?
website, www.nohumanisyuseless.com. Right, one word, nohumanisyuseless.com. When you go to the website, you see a donate button, and then you can put any amount, and it's going to be a blessing. Yes, because it has always been a blessing to people. Yeah.
Okay, your final words as we close. Do you have anything you would like to share with people all around watching tonight?
The best things in life are found in uncomfortable situations. When you go through those situations, don't take your life, because there's something beautiful there God has placed in there. Go grab it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Plenge, for being here tonight. It's been very inspiring. And so if you are in the season now, don't waste it. Ask yourself what God has for you in this season. Maybe you are away from all the noise so that you can hear what God wants to do with your life. And just like he said, don't end your life. God has a purpose and a plan for your life. Please, we will meet on Monday at 7 p.m. on this exact show for Spirit Word with Reverend George Adade-Kessin. Kindly stay tuned. And then on Saturday, we will meet for Real Talk with a very good conversation. And I believe that tonight we've been blessed. Kindly share, like, leave a comment, and follow us on all social media platforms. We are Love Community Baptist Church. Thank you for staying with us. Bye-bye.
In a world full of noise, we choose meaningful conversations. Conversations that heal, inspire, and build faith. Here at Love TV, we'll be having meaningful conversations, very real conversations, powerful interviews, and faith-based discussions. Here we will discuss family, purpose, relationship, stories, all through the lenses of God's Word. Whether you are young or old, join us every Saturday at 7 p.m. My name is Deborah Baah Quansah. I'll be your host for Real Conversations.